but these seas are going up. But these seas are going up. Nothing but up. Nothing but up. Nothing but up. Nothing but up for me. Nothing but up. And as I'm getting us on Instagram Live and Facebook, just yeah, like happy to be here. Give me a second, Sam. And Facebook, just all right. I'm dipping in from hibernation week at the Sustainable Economies Law Center. Super grateful that I'm working at a self-directed nonprofit that allows for the folks who work there to make the major decisions about how the nonprofit is run. And one of my colleagues put out a proposal over Slack, like an online messaging system, and said, yo, I think that given what's going on with the pandemic, everything of December to give folks a time to just like get adjusted to the new year and take some reflection time. And we've the proposal was passed, and so we're doing that this week. And I'm super grateful to be able to be doing that. Hey, how you doing, Mama Mia?
Hey, I'm good. Thank you. Thanks for having me as always. I'm all nervous and excited.
Good to see you here. I love that jacket. I need to get one myself.
Thank you. One of my exclusives. Um, I was like, everything that you buy these days is black and gray, right? So I needed to bling it up a little bit.
Yeah, I love it. It kind of looks like the graduation things that folks have. You know those.
Oh yeah, huh?
Yeah,
Well, I was all, could I go sideways? I'm gonna go old school, so I just went. So, did you start us off already?
I was just kind of giving folks some context about Sustainable Economies Law Center and my or ground us in any way before we move forward.
Yeah, I think we should. Just a quick prayer to the Lord and the ancestors, recognizing the creator of all and the creator of each of us, to keep guiding us through this wisdom, ground us and inspire us today, and just be with us always. And I say amen to that.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Um, so yeah, I was looking at the Freedom quilting bee from yesterday.
Mhm.
Super exciting. I'm sorry, the workers owned sewing company and the Freedom Quilting Bee.
Right?
They, of course, being a sewer, I was like, oh, I want to know about that. How can I make that work for us?
Pops, it's been amazing because like earlier in the week we learned about the Northeast Self-Help Cooperative that was like a producer co-op and a consumer co-op, and they were gathering like tons of folks together to do some pretty amazing stuff.
Mm-hmm. And so now that workers owned sewing company, it looks like it was open for like 30 years, which
Mhm.
in my mind is a success. I mean, 30 years, that's a full generation, right? Of people
Yeah.
that you've uh, gave employment, trained,
Hmm.
shown the next generation how it can be done, and inspired them instead of having just a job.
Yeah.
Um, Now, today, it looks like employ more than 1,600 Latina and African American women as home care paraprofessionals in three worker owned affiliated companies. So, as of this book, it was 1,600. I looked it up as of today, they have over 2,000 staff.
Wow.
So, and it doesn't even say that in the book here, but they started with 12 home health aides
Mm.
and started this cooperative, just 12 people, and now they're over 2,000. So,
That sounds like almost like REI. It's not in this book because it's not black owned, but or it wasn't started by black folks, but it was started by 23 people, and now they're a consumer co-op that has like millions of lifetime members. I think 18 million.
lifetime members?
Yeah.
That's that's awesome.
Hmm.
Yeah, so now they have more than 700 and counting of these employees of the Cooperative Home Care Associates being worker owners. And it's the largest worker cooperative in the United States. So that's huge. Um, since 1987, the workers have earned annual dividends between 25 and 50% of their initial investment,
Mm.
and the co-op maximizes wages and benefits, providing paid vacations and health insurance, which typically is an environment of trust and collaboration. The workers are also unionized,
Mm.
and they offer training and career advancement programs for its members. So overall, their employee turnover is well below average. So talking about the career advancement and training, they train about 600 low income and unemployed women annually. Free training, 9 to 5, and with if you complete their training, they guarantee employment. So
Wow. At their values, and it's an example of like black and brown women coming together to provide better jobs for themselves and for
exactly,
communities.
exactly.
That's great.
They said that it was started in 85 by a social service agency to create decent jobs and provide needed services in an impoverished community. So it employs and provides an ownership to African American and Latino women, three-quarters of whom have screening of potential employees. They offer training and career advancement program and promote management training among their worker owners.
Hey.
So, I mean, it got so big that they were able to spin off a whole training and development of, and it brings up the industry citywide just because there's a standard.
education and training, and they like really took that to heart, like making sure that they're training the I guess like unskilled or low skilled people, and like
Right.
continually building up their skills until they can be management and executives, and like being
Off as a home health aide, which you can they train you for, and then you in instructors, counselors, supervisors, and managers. So it's not just a 9 to 5 job. You come into this place and you can see a path
mm,
to stay there to learn.
yeah.
Um, yeah, my
These systems for ourselves like they did.
right, right, and so they established and they were doing it. Then they did the training agency, and now they have a new initiative where they were able to get special Medicaid funds to work with the disabled in New York called Independence Care System,
Mm.
where they help disabled clients. And this added another 500 employees, which
Wow.
also will be eligible for ownership soon. So, I mean, little by little, they're taking the next step and the next step and working together. Um, let's see. Then it goes on to give you even more good news about this place. Cooperative Home Care Associates provides several asset building opportunities for its member owners. So it pays annual dividends in profitable years, averaging about 25% of the initial equity investment. And so, and if you can see, that's $250 afford, um, save up for, or make payments to get to.
Yeah, it looks like it was $1,000.
It looks like it was 1,000, right?
Yeah.
And then the cooperative also leads the industry in above average wages, benefits, career advancement, leadership training, advocacy, and low turnover. Uh, the worker owners also receive a $10,000 life insurance benefit, and most owners contribute to a 401k plan, uh, which the co-op also does contributes about $100 a year when they can, when it's profitable.
Okay.
And
And
the
that's on
value
top
of,
of the dividend.
say it again.
That's
Yeah,
on
that's on
top of.
top of the dividend.
Mm,
So it's like they pay the highest wages, they offer the training, and then when they still have some profit, they contribute to a 401k as well.
mm-hmm.
And so their 401k plan is over $2.5 million, and two at least 234 of the workers had accumulated more than 4,000 in their accounts. So, I mean, this is really a path from, you know, practically desperation, no possibilities or low possibilities, no money, to becoming a worker owner, getting trained, getting decent income, able to save for your retirement. And because you're an owner, you can, like Ted was saying yesterday, pass it on to your kid, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is really doing some great stuff for the community.
Yeah.
Uh,
We're on page 165 of Collective Courage,
mhm.
in chapter, what is it, 7, talking about the role of women in the cooperative movement. And super
Right.
grateful that you're here joining us and walking us through this, Mama Mia.
The employee owners and getting checking and savings account, because 70% of them um, didn't have it before joining the company, and 79% didn't have a savings account. So they do all this and help you get on your feet by providing small interest-free loans and allowing employees to cash out on their vacation if they come up with cash flow. Because when you're just getting started,
Mm.
that whole $400 could derail the average American family. So having an employer that can work with you and help you out so that you don't have to go to these check cashing places and payday loans at super high rates to help you get, get stable and stay stable. So all these benefits are pretty much unheard of in the home care industry and for any low skill. Questions, of course. And so, be, but like Greg was saying, because it's their mission, because they're owned by, they were able to make these benefits the Black and Latina workforce gain the control of the board of directors and through assembling all the worker owners, they were able to make influence the decisions about pay and benefits. So getting on the board and having control is the real difference here. They're saying that these women, they feel like they have real input and control. That don't offer you anything, and advocating for themselves. You know, I think they also put in place where the pay for the higher management couldn't be too high so that everybody can move up at the same time.
Yeah.
Um,
Co-ops typically have, or cooperatives typically have like ratios. So it's
uh,
like, the highest, the management can't get like, let's say more than 12 to 1. So like one person isn't making more per year than like isn't making more
then
per
like the
year.
whole bottom or the whole entry level workforce, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. So at the top of page 166, there more good news. I love this co op. Many of the original members have moved up the ranks into mid level management positions. Economic stability, economic mobility, and leadership development for low income women of color are some of the major accomplishments of the cooperative. So, this is a company that has been going on since 1966, so 46 years still going.
Mm,
Um, of all the ones that we've read of, this is like one of the only ones that's I can remember that's still going strong and
yeah.
still helping the community.
Yeah, like a few of them have like gotten past the 20, 30 year mark, but this one has gotten past that and it's still going on. So it's definitely amazing.
Right. So speaking again on the board, their goals, I looked at their website, is number one, high quality care for the elderly, chronically ill, and disabled. Two, offer the highest possible salaries and benefits to our workers. And three, offer workers the opportunity. I mean, they've smashed their goals. They've, you know, they are too. So I think that's the real foundation. Is
Yeah,
it something that was all needed? Um, Not some, fly by night idea. Someone from the outside bringing in their idea of what they think we need.
hmm
Uh, because I have elderly parents. I'm getting to that age, and they need help. So hearing how they are like, okay, we got our elderly parents, we need to help them out. They probably took advantage of the home health care laws because the government does assist with that,
mm,
and was able to, make something work, something that something that is so needed in the community, and expanding to disabled too, helping them stay at home.
yeah. I wanted to say like there's this upcoming thing called the Silver Tsunami, and that means like all of the baby
Oh,
boomers and that generation, which is like about 50% or more of the population, is gonna be like aging out, retiring, of a person that's aging out in your community, and like maybe they're willing to like sell the business and help it be
Oh
co-op.
yeah.
But also like the same, like we talked about, or I don't, I think you and I talked about this about like Social Security, and that is because of the silver tsunami, that's going to be like not as available like 25, 30 years from now as it is in this time. And so it's really important for us like to be thinking about like what are the needs of the community and like foreseeing those and then providing, then we can hold each other in our needs, and we'll all be okay.
Right. When is that supposed to hit? It's actually kind of hitting now. I mean, most of the baby boomers are starting to get to their late 60s and 70s. Um, and so it's already starting to hit. In fact, there I've heard estimates of um, the clientele were mostly women of color, immigrant and refugee women, and women survivors of domestic violence. The house cleaning, catering, and childcare. CEW used a model that gave voice, skills, and full-time employment with benefits to the poorest women. Bread, since they didn't mention in exclusively the
Uh,
model.
uh, the cooperative model for this particular one, cooperative economics for women.
Yeah, it just looked like. I mean, they didn't say it was the Mondragon, but must have been some hybrid cooperative formation.
Yeah, I think they were mainly focused on technical assistance and helping to create cooperatives in the Jamaican Plain area.
Okay, okay. So, CEW began in 1994 as an effort to provided tutoring in English. Participants gained employment experience and a cooperative perspective through a rigorous and comprehensive innovative training program. So the clients learn to identify their formal and informal skills and learn business skills, financial literacy, and how to work in teams to create democratic management. And in CEW was funded through grants and from foundations and individuals and
Mhm.
the things that don't come naturally, um, business skills and financial literacy. And I mean, it seems like they already had, they already had the foundation. They just needed those extra couple of skills to make it work.
Yep. I think that's
So,
true for like most of our community.
right, right. Like, I got this skill. How can I capitalize on it? How can I what's the next step, right?
Right.
um, so the CEW strove to make creative ideas work in times of cutthroat capitalism. I think we're in those times right now. Um, through a transformative training program and sense of community.
Mm.
Majority of those living in poor communities, women, and respond to their self-defined problems.
Wow.
That's the Black Grant,
Powerful
right?
and simple. Yeah.
Yeah. Right? What's the problem? What skills do you have? Let me give you the little missing links
Mhm.
and help you find some funding and set youth groups of women because it found that the addition of men in the training program, uh, well, with the addition of men, it kind of changed the dynamics
Mm.
and the training couldn't focus as clearly on building leadership qualities, empowerment, and trust among women.
Mm.
So I don't know if we're going to have to segregate men and women. I hate to think that we have to, but whatever
Well,
it takes for us
I,
to get this knowledge.
yeah, I think it's like whatever the group says that they need to feel safe. Because I can think of like just the black community in general saying like, "Yo, I really need to just build with black folks right now, so I don't have to deal with
Yeah,
microaggressions and all that stuff." And so I can like have compassion for like women saying they need that, or LGBTQ people saying they need that. It's like whatever makes you feel safe. Let's just like build the structures that we need to hold us all in the future.
right, right. Um, yeah, so that was the Cooperative Economics for Women. And I didn't get a chance to look them up, but I did like the way that they, want to focus on the community problems and fostering the skills that people already had.
Mm.
This next one is exciting to me because it's another sewing plant.
Hey.
This, yeah, the Dawson Workers Own Cooperative, which is in Dawson, Georgia. They're saying that the owners of Allmark Mills, it was a fabric cutting and sewing plant. They abandoned the mill in late 1997 after dry. They,
Okay.
yeah, they had 900 to begin with, but whittled down to employees and they just had to close. They let the property go into foreclosure and the bank up. Um, so the 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 closest other textile job was about 50 miles away.
Mm.
So the workers were like, shit, we got to make this work. Okay, at 50 miles, how am I going to? You got to think, okay, commuting, dealing with your family. They got with the Marcus Lomax, the president and general manager of the mill, and worked with the mayor and the former employees. They all got together
Oh, okay.
and restructured itself as a co-op.
Mm.
Because he had heard about another place who'd done the same thing, probably the workers' own sewing company.
Mm-hmm.
So they partnered with a local business developer and they developed the co-op in October 1997. She basically was like, we had a meeting and all the employees decided this co-op was something that could work. So, you know, it just was a true meeting of the minds. They're like, no, they studied it, they looked at it, and they basically took their union fund because they had the union closed and everything. So they had all this money that they had saved up in the union, and they used that as the equity investment in the new cooperative.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, yeah. So 76% female. A third of them were single mothers, and most of them were black.
Mm.
So the Allmark Mills had the largest employer of women in the whole county. So you can imagine, like I said, 50 miles to the next job, and they're like, okay, some smart person came with the idea, let's try this worker co-op, and they're like, we can do this, right?
Yeah.
So they
This,
put their money. Go ahead.
oh, sorry. At the bottom of the page of 167, it's talking about the North America Free Trade Agreement and how
Yes.
folks started losing their jobs. Like when we started reading this, it reminded me of a documentary called The Take, which is about Argentina and how when a lot of capitalists started trying to take all their money out of Argentina and closing factories, workers around the country started
Oh,
taking the factories back and like operating them cooperatively. Um, but the thing is, like, we were losing jobs here because of the North America Free Trade Agreement, and then the jobs that theoretically went to Latin America because it was closest at the time, they
mm-hmm.
lost their jobs because their jobs were exported somewhere else. And so like, it's just the thing where like capitalism is always trying to like reduce costs and extract as much as it can. And
That's the only way it can work
right.
is by you know making someone else poor. It's
Mhm.
just not equitable, you know.
Yeah. And I feel like we can always rely on them to do that, right? But the thing about cooperatives is once they're created, they're not going to leave the place that they were created from because that means that the employees are like, "Yo, I'm going to outsource my job to someone else." Um,
Exactly.
yeah.
Well, they actually so they the NAFTA caused all these job losses, and then the government comes and offers loans to businesses to try to survive,
Mm,
which that was not cool. But in this case, it helped out because it got the cooperative started. They got a loan package under that program of 1.4 million, and they took that to pay off the bank debts, expand, hire 100 more employee owners, so that they were up to 169 at that point,
wow.
and they actually became started becoming profitable. They
Mm,
had sales of almost 5 million in 1998.
wow. So a year later.
So a year later, right. So they were able to take advantage of that loan guarantee program and turn it around to something good, um, which makes me think of the loan program that they have right now for businesses.
Hmm.
How can we capitalize on that to help perhaps pivot to a co-op? Um, these businesses that are barely hanging on,
Right.
um, it's an idea. Let's see. So to finish this up, the mayor of Dawson, Robert L. Britton, stated that persons in this community doubted that women and minorities could make this work where it hadn't succeeded before, but we made believers out of them. That was in 1998. And the board chair Williams remarked that the cooperative had changed the workers' lives, made them more optimistic and hopeful, open and transparent. So it almost makes me think, if I do have to work for someone, can I find a cooperative to go work for? Because at least they care, and you're not feeling like you're going to get fired at any moment, outsourced. They don't tell you what's really happening. They don't let you make an informed decision. Like, if the business is in trouble, why don't you talk to us? We all got ideas. Perhaps some of our ideas could turn things around, you know?
Yeah.
Um, that's where I think the difference of cooperative is.
And
Because
hopefully it's working with the people that you join and not for. Like it may be for in like the short term if you're like a candidate or you're on a probationary period. But
mm-hmm,
after
mm-hmm.
that point,
Like, maybe you're just short term. But if you really want to build your input in creativity, because that's the thing that was missing in my job is there was no creativity. Not at all. You just log on 8 hours like a robot and then jump off. Um, so having more involvement in your work can make it more satisfying,
Yeah,
beneficial.
yeah, I agree. And I've been like so inspired and grateful for you and Kim and Kanita for like hosting this week because it's been awesome. And like being on the other side and sitting down and just taking in the information. It's like, oh yeah, this is nice.
Let us take it. Let us take the hit, right?
uh,
But no, I mean, we have a job coach in the Ultra program that Repaired Nations is also involved with, who always talks about always wanted to be able to speak in public. And so that'll be coming out just